Hello, my name is Daniel, and welcome to my channel, Live to Read. Today we're doing a book review of All Quiet on the Western Front with spoilers by Eric Maria Remarque. This book was published in 1929. Page count is close to 180 pages, so not a large book. So the subject matter here is with World War One. So the author himself was actually a veteran of the war, and this is based loosely on his experience. So going into this book, you're going to know that the subject matter is extremely heavy. So it's not going to be lighthearted or uplifting whatsoever. So this deals with a group of German friends um, who enlist in the German army to fight in the war. And the main character, his name is Paul. So you as the reader, you go with Paul and his friends while they fight in trench warfare. And in this book itself, it's just absolutely brutal and very descriptive about the horrors of war. I mean, unfortunately, him and his friends, what they experience is just unrelenting. They never know when they're going to die. They see death everywhere, young men being killed. Even their fellow soldiers, the men themselves struggle, and some even try to kill themselves. It's a huge toll. Under the constant bombardment of being shot at, being stabbed, trying to be stabbed, bombs being dropped. So it's never ending. And the takeaway from this book is more or less about a generation being lost. These young men, you know, they have a past, but they'll never have a future because they've paid the ultimate price. And that the cost of war is for those who serve and their families. Politicians, governments will never know the real cost of war. And of all countries, regardless of who is fighting who, that cost is universal on both sides. No one really wins from any war. So, but however, at the same time, there's an amazing sense of brotherhood and friendship while Paul and his friends try to navigate, the trenches, dealing with, like I said, the constant bombardment of death, as at the same time never having enough rations or food or supplies. So there's some great human moments in here, especially when there's a section where Paul and some of his friends get a break from the war, and you almost have the same sense of relief as he does, just getting away from it. And he and his friends meet some French women, and no, they don't even speak French, but they have an amazing human interaction with them. They spend time with the women. They share food and meals with them. It's very beautiful. And then also there's another part where Paul, he actually gets a leave, and he goes and visits his family, and it's very sad, to the point where he visits his mother, his father, and his sister. But while there, he's being constantly asked about the war and what's going on, and he does not want to speak to it whatsoever. He just wants to be left alone. And also, at the same time, like if a car goes by or he hears a train, he immediately, it triggers him, and he almost it's like PTSD. And but he gets to spend time with his family. But however, he sort of wants to. He knows where he belongs, and he wants to be back on the front with his brothers. And that's what he ends up doing. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, himself and his friends, they all are killed. So it's very tragic. Like I said, it's an amazing lens on the brutality of war, and that no one, like I said, no one really wins. So it's an incredible book. I know there's a Netflix movie as well. I'll probably give that a watch. I usually just do the book before any movie, so it's a amazing story. So, but that's just my review. If you enjoy the content, please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. Thank you.